Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Lynn, for this introduction. I think that some professional challenges are truly complicated. Let's take SpaceX, for example. These guys are launching a rocket into space, drop a satellite, bring the rocket back to Earth, and land it vertically on a floating drone ship at sea. So if you work at SpaceX and you tell me that this challenge was really complicated, I will probably agree and believe you. Especially if you look at the difficulties they have to go through. I mean, it looks like it hasn't been easy, and they must have spent millions before they succeed. So that's complicated for me. But I think that most of the time, we overcomplicate our challenge. Because if it looks too complex, well, you have an excuse for not doing it. So when you convince yourself, another member of your team, that marketing automation is something complicated that will require a lot of resources, you do that as a way to get rid of it, so that you can keep doing your CRM the way you are used to and stay in your comfort zone. But the truth is, marketing automation is quite simple. And today you no longer need to be an expert or to have a lot of budget to implement an effective strategy. People who invite me today think that our startup, Foxmango, is a great illustration of that, because when we started 1 year ago, we had no budget, no expertise, no time for it, and yet we try to implement marketing automation from day one. So today I will briefly introduce our startup. You already see that it's about dogs. Then John will say a few words about the collaboration with Actito, and then I will present you 3 cases that are providing very great results for us, and I will share with you the simple thing we've done to get these results. Okay, so if I'm asking you what this picture makes you think of, I guess that most of you will tell me, well, looks like a beautiful family portrait. But if you ask me the same question, I will tell you I'm seeing an opportunity here. Over the last few years, dogs have become family. And by becoming a member of the family, dogs have also become marketer best friend. So we noticed that the more dogs were becoming family, the more marketers and advertising were going to the dogs. But the thing is, if you're a marketer looking to target, let's say, kids or young mothers, you have a lot of possibilities. But for those who want to target dog owners, become much more difficult. So we decided to help them. And we created Foxmango, a marketing agency that helped brands to communicate with dog owners. I co-funded it in early 2016 with Raphaël Cardon, a former colleague. Unfortunately, I don't have the time today to explain you why dog owners are such a golden target, but just have a look to some of our first clients. You will see that some leading brands, even outside the pet market, have found interest in working with us. So now to help these guys to communicate with dog owners, we decided to create a community called Dog of Friends. The message to attract dog owners into the community is quite simple. Go on a website, give us some information about you, about your dog, and you will receive plenty of advantages 100% free. So you can receive a free gift box, discount, advice on how to take care of your dog, and so on. Now, our clients, the brands, have 3 possibilities to engage with that community. They can do it through the Doggo Box. It's a free gift box that vets, breeders, and shelters distribute all over Belgium, and a client put the print communication and the product sample in the box. The second tool is a growing database of thousands of dog owner profiles, and we get a lot of information about them, which means that we can send a very targeted and personalized campaign. And the last tool, last possibility is our Facebook community, which counts already 16,000 very engaged fans in 1 year. Okay, so enough talking about my company. Let's go back 1 year ago and see how we started it. The first thing we needed was a tool, but I'm definitely not an IT, so we were looking for something powerful but very easy to use at the same time. and that's how we start a collaboration with Actito.
Yeah, me again. The idea of today and why I wanted to jump in the discussion of Olivier was why I picked up Olivier to being here today. So first of all, thank you for being there. I think it's very cool that he's sharing his journey as an entrepreneur. And I know that there are a lot of bigger brands over here, but I think all the session we had today was about get started with it. It's not that complicated. Okay, it's a startup, so he has no boundaries, no legacy, less politics than all of you. But from day one, Olivier knew he had to go with marketing automation. And I truly believe that even if I'm meeting a lot of bigger companies, we're missing those basic elements. And I think what Olivier will share after will really show you that you can adapt it today. You can really reboot how you're doing marketing, how you bring experiences, personalization. And of course, for our part, which was very important, like Olivier said, he is not a technical person. So for tools like us that address to marketeer, it's a feedback loop. And I told you how much I love customer interaction and feedbacks from customer. And that was a very good win-win relation for us and for them. But I think really for you, you need to listen from how Olivier, from day one, was able to implement marketing automation because he knew what he had to do. And that's come back to what Tim said. And Olivier will really bring you through some useful cases you can probably apply tomorrow.
Thank you. Well, okay, the first email we configured was the welcome email. So it's basically the email you receive when you just subscribe on a website. And in 12 months, I think we've tested about 15 different versions of that email. And we managed to increase our open rate from 58 to 82%. So how did we achieve that? Sorry. First, we use a thank you page. So when you just subscribe, we tell you, congrats, you just subscribed, you're about to receive a welcome email, and this welcome email is going to be great. Then, because we don't want them to miss that great email, if they have a Gmail address, we tell them, go look in your promotion tab because our email will probably land there. So first you can use your thank you page. Secondly, what we don't use is double opt-in. For those of you who don't know what it means, double opt-in is when you not only need to enter your email and confirm your subscription on a site, but you also need to reconfirm that this email is correct and that you still want to subscribe in an email you receive just after you subscribe on the site. So some will say that with double opt-in you have a cleaner email list because you can check that the email is correct. But if you think about it, double opt-in, it's a bit like, let's say you try to seduce a girl. So you invite her for a date, telling her that you're going to have a lot of fun. And because you are in a lucky day, she says yes and give you a phone number. But then, strangely, 1 minute later, you will do that. You text her, asking her to confirm that the phone number is correct, if she still want to go on a date with you, and if she does, you ask her to text you back yes. I think that almost no one does that in real life, so we don't believe that this is the best way to start a conversation with someone. And keep that in mind when you will select your tool, because with some marketing automation tool, you don't have the choice. You have to use a double opt-in. And finally, we personalize our email. Okay, that's not rocket science, obviously, but if you have the data to personalize with more than the classic first name, try it, because for us, adding the dog name in the subject line increases our open rate by 10%. Okay, so if you subscribe, you receive that great welcome email, but what if you don't? What if you leave our website before subscribing? That's our next challenge, the comeback email. People don't like forms. So we knew from the very beginning that some people will leave our website without subscribing. But we also knew that if we had their email address, we could try to bring them back. So to get that email, but also to improve our customer experience, we broke up our registration process into 4 different steps. And we made sure that the first one is super easy, just the email address. So when you move from one step to the next, all the information you gave in the previous step are directly recorded into a database, which means that the further you move into the funnel before you leave, the more information we get to personalize our comeback email. So if you leave before the end, 2 hours later you receive that email with a simple message. You're just a few clicks away from great advantages for you and your dog. Click here, finish your subscription, just where you left it. We have great stats on that email, but much more important, with it we managed to get 20% of the quitters back on the website and finish their subscription. So if you subscribe to Doggo Friends, the welcome email or the comeback email are the first of many to come for you. So another important challenge for us is to be relevant in our communication. You don't need to be an expert to know that the people who subscribe to your website are expecting your email to be relevant to their interest. And the best way to do that is to segment your database. So far we created 2 types of segmentation. The first one is based on the age of your dog, and the second one is based on your dog size. So let's see an example based on the first segmentation. If when you subscribe we see that your dog is still a puppy, then 3 days later you will receive our starter kit. So it's an email with a different link, very useful for someone who just adopted a puppy. And the stats on that email are just amazing. So we'll definitely try to do more segmented and targeted campaign like that in the future. Okay, so John, now we'll give you...
I think, like I said a few minutes ago, the idea was really to show you, you saw those stats, and I don't see them that often, even when I'm reading all the blog posts. And you see by having that strategy ready, knowing what you want to do with your data, allows you to develop those kind of fucking KPIs. And for once I will say it. It's very important that everybody understand that it's because Olivier knew from day one that he had to go for his personalization level, that he put all his data capting ready from start that allow him to have those stats. So like Tim said, when we're reading RFPs with plenty features, 50 pages and complex flows and GDPR and everything, I never see something, I want to do this as a marketer and just engaging the conversation with them on an easy way. Think at really those basic steps as the first learning that you need to get out of any technology you're using today. And put it back to your strategy so that you can do like a startup, even if you're not a startup. I'm pretty sure even big companies can reach those figures just by acting the right way. Put those basics so that you have the strong foundation to lift up your marketing and your marketing automation process.
Okay. Short conclusion, we already ran out of time. I would just say no more excuses. I mean, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, marketing automation was something complex, but today it's quite simple. You have low prices. You can even start with a free tool. You have great UX, which means that you don't have to be an expert or to have an IT, or to be an IT, sorry, to configure an email. And low prices plus great UX means that you can test and improve. And then what you do doesn't have to be perfect before you start. So that's it. No more excuses. Thank you.